am here today to talk to you guys about microlinks. So I know that you're seeing them up and down your social media feed, and there's this popularity boom with them. So I am a licensed cosmetologist and an extension specialist, and I am looking to open an extension salon later this year, fingers crossed, hopefully by late summer. But I want to talk to you guys about microlinks and why they are so popular and what's going on, and answer all of those questions that you may have, because a lot of my prospective clients have quite a few questions, and I say, you know what, let me throw a video together and just answer a lot of questions there, and maybe that will help not only my prospective clients but people out there also that have quite a few questions about this particular method of extensions. So again, I am a licensed cosmetologist. If I did not say that, I'm a licensed cosmetologist since 2009 and an extensions specialist. So I am certified in this area of extension work. Now let's get into this. What are microlinks? Microlinks are a semi-permanent method of extensions, which means that they can last up to 6 months when maintained properly and installed correctly. So they are individual locks of hair like this. This is an I-tip. It's the type of extension that is used in the microlinking method. So this is an I-tip. So there's one lock of hair. Okay. And it is placed into the hair, throughout the hair, with a micro bead. And that is pretty much what microlinks are, right? And so you're probably thinking, oh, okay, I've seen that. And some people think that it's new. It's not. It's not new at all. The method may be newer, but I-tips, the single locks of bonded hair, have been around for quite some time. I would say the early 2000s. And in the early 2000s, they were widely popular with celebrities. But let me be clear, they were popular with celebrities. Other people would get them. And the reason that a lot of people did not know that a lot of other people were getting them was that, you remember back, there was a time when extensions were a bit taboo and no one was sharing their, extension secrets, their hair secrets. Well, in upscale salons, because this is where this was performed, because it was a certification that most stylists needed to have, and it wasn't always easy to seek out that certification because the demand was not as high. But a lot of senior stylists would do this in suite areas or back rooms away from onlookers, and it was considered more of a luxury service, and it just was not widely discussed, right? Because the demand was not up there. It was quite costly to get this type of extensions, the pre-bonded, extensions. It was pretty costly, and at the time, it just wasn't something that there was no demand for it, and now there is. Now, back then, we used them in. So the pre-bonded part, where did my extension go? The pre-bonded part of this extension, on this one, this is keratin, and it would get used in with a hot tool, okay? And that, it worked for some people really, really well, and for others not so well. I think mainly because they were not maintaining it properly. Sometimes perhaps it wasn't done correctly, and sometimes they had some existing damage on their hair, like they were color treated and not in the healthiest of way, and so it would cause damage. So then we switched over to cold fusion. So it was a tube created and certain extensions created for cold fusion, and although that was a healthier method for the hair, it wasn't as good as the hot fusion. So who enters the room? That's right, microbeads enters the stratosphere of this extensions method. And so that is how we ended up with microlinks. And so while it is not widely known, but this method has been around for quite some time. So there's a little history on eye tips and microlinks, but yeah, so I hope that's helpful. So let's discuss their current popularity. What I have notes here because I don't want to miss anything, because this, you know, I get so many questions, so I want to try to cover as much as I possibly can. But their current popularity, why are we seeing a current popularity? And it is because there's a higher demand. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's a demand for them now. Having extensions is not nearly as taboo as it was. We have wigs, we have clip-ins, we have tape-ins, we have sew-ins, you know, we have ponytails, we have everything, right? So it's not as taboo as it was. And so now you have this higher demand. Stylists can share and they're not outing their, you know, higher end clientele. So that's pretty much it. And if you have a higher demand, then you're going to need what? You're going to need a supply. So then stylists now are going to get certified in these particular methods or method. And so now you're seeing, you know, it up and down your social media feeds and hearing more about it, right? And then the third reason that you're seeing this is because we have more hair. We have a diversity of hair extensions. We have different textures, different curl patterns, different density, you know, because the point of this method, let me be very clear, is to have a seamless install of extensions. This method, I will say, it is not to like give you this whole new look. It's just to make you have longer hair, you know, like a wig can give you a whole new look and everything like that. And I mean, you do get a new look, but this is for the women out there that it's like, I still like to look like myself. I still, you know, just want to just zhuzh it up a bit, but I want it to look very natural. So it's a very natural form of extensions. So that's another reason we have so many different types of hair to choose from that are now in this form. Okay, so many different types of hair to choose from, and so that's really very helpful to this particular method of extensions, and it helps, you know, a lot of women become more comfortable with wearing them, because it's really difficult when the hair is like super silky straight and your hair is not like that at all. Which leads to my next point. Who are they for? Who are microlinks for? They really are for everyone, but there's a caveat. You need to have relatively healthy hair. You should have relatively healthy hair, and you should probably have hair that is at least to here. Doesn't have to be to the length of it, doesn't have to be to here all the way around, but you should have a little bit of length on your hair. If you're just growing out a pixie cut or a TWA, you know, then you may have to wait a while if this is something you're interested in, but relatively healthy and a little bit of length. You need a little bit of length. So, but they really are for everyone. And when I say healthy, it means you don't want to have like dry hair that's suffering from mechanical damage or heat damage or any of those things. And let me be clear, anyone can have dry hair. So those with straight hair that have been color treated and their hair, you know, has just gotten damaged from the color and it may feel like really dry and feel like straw, you know, you should get on a treatment method if this is something you're interested in. That's kind of what happened with the hot fusion for those that were getting it. They were getting colored and then they were getting this and they were getting colored and they were getting this, and it wasn't being done as it should have been. Like, so to protect the integrity of the client's hair. So you'd see like a lot of breakage on, you know, those that were first getting it with the hot fusion. So just be aware of that. So just relatively healthy, that's who it's for. So now that we've kind of covered the history, the popularity, who microlinks are for, let's get into how you should find a stylist and what should happen in your consultation. But wait, before I get into consultation, one more thing I want to go back and mention about popularity. Should have mentioned this. With popularity, what tends to enter the space as well are those that are not qualified or certified to do them. So amateurs and even professionals that are licensed in cosmetology but don't necessarily have a certification in this particular area, that could pose a bit of a problem. And anything, when there's a popularity boom, you're gonna have like people entering that space because they want to, you know, cash in on the demand. It's very simple. But I must say this, I cannot stress it enough, it is extremely important to seek out a professional that is certified in this particular area, because I can assure you, if you don't, you are not going to have the best relationship with this particular method of extensions. You will most certainly see the difference between going to someone that has not been certified, they've not been educated, versus someone who has. You're most certainly gonna see that. So I cannot stress that enough. Please seek out a professional that is certified. It is very important because it is not so easy. I know people think, oh, they just look at it and it seems simple enough. It's really not that simple. There's, when you get certified in certain methods of extensions and even other, you know, areas of beauty, there's this foundation of knowledge that already exists that you are adding to with the certification. So you'd already have to know some things, and then in the certification class, because they're not going all the way back to the beginning. But so just keep that in mind. If you needed a criminal attorney, you're not gonna go and get a civil one, right? If you needed surgery, you're not going to a doctor that practices family medicine. So just bear that in mind. That's really important. Okay, enough about that. Let's jump into consultation. When you find a professional, you should have a consultation. Not a consultation over FaceTime, not a consultation over Zoom, okay? Your consultation needs to be in person. I know, and I'm not saying over FaceTime or over Zoom or via text because of the current crap going on in the world with, you know, C-19. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm saying in general, if you embark on this particular method, you should have an in-person consultation. And yes, in the past, before we were even in this pandemic, I saw, you know, stylists doing that, and that is just not what should be happening. It's just not common practice, and it's not the right practice. So there are a lot of different factors that need to be addressed in your consultation. Care needs to be addressed, maintenance needs to be addressed, the type of hair you need to pick out needs to be addressed. If you need to be color matched, that needs to be addressed. The feel of your hair, because if someone were to do your consultation over Zoom, what your hair looks like versus what your hair feels like is very different. And again, you want your hair to be in the most optimum state before getting a semi-permanent extensions method of service, right? Before you install extensions that can last up to 6 months, you want your hair to be in the best shape before you do that. So all of that should be addressed in your consultation. Also, if for some reason your stylist does find that your hair is not in its healthiest state and you're not quite ready for this method, the stylist will likely give you a treatment. I put my clients, I'll speak for me, I put my clients on a treatment regimen until their hair is healthy. I'll usually, this is not a sponsored video at all, but I will usually treat them with Olaplex if it is for really anything. If it's color damage or mechanical damage, I'll usually treat them with Olaplex for, you know, 2 to 3 months depending on the damage of their hair, and then I will send them home with number 3, number 6, and number 7 depending on what they have going on, and so for them to do at home care. So that is very important. It is very important that your consultation is thorough. It is very important that you get all of your questions answered. So write a list of questions before you go in to the salon that you may have, so you don't miss anything. But I will say most professionals will cover everything with you. Great professionals that are certified will try to cover everything with you. What I do is I actually have a little write-up of things, and I have my clients sign off on, you know, the care surrounding this particular extensions method. So I'll give them the little write-up, we'll look over it, we'll discuss it. If they have any questions, please ask me, and then they sign off on it to make sure that they understand, that I understand, that they understand. So consultations are very important. I cannot stress that point enough either. Consultations are very important with this method. Okay, so maintenance and home care, right? So maintenance. So you heard me say several times, this is a semi-permanent method of extensions that can last up to 6 months. Yes, this is true, but you must have proper maintenance, which you have to come back to the salon every 4 to 6 weeks. Some stylists will push it out 4 to 7 weeks. I like to say 4 to 6 weeks. So you come in and you can some stylists may even pre-book these in advance. So when you get your installation done, say, okay, and this is when you're gonna come back, because the stylist may have been doing this for so long that he or she can eyeball when you need to come back based on your hair type. So you book out your maintenance visits in advance, or you book them as you go. So 4 to 6 weeks, you get them tightened. So it's just, you're gonna get growth, and so you're gonna have the growth between the root of your hair to the bead, and so your stylist is just going to open up. Your stylist is just going to open the bead with the tool used to perform the service, and just readjust and push your eye-tip back up so you don't have that outgrowth and your extensions kind of, you know, hanging down and not being in the proper position they're supposed to be. Now, I cannot stress enough that that is supposed to happen every 4 to 6 weeks. Don't try to push it out, you know, because then that's when you get into things like mechanical damage. And that's why I have my clients sign off on the little waiver saying that they understand, because, oh, great, I have an ambulance. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Okay, is it gone yet? Sorry. Okay, it's gone. I think it's gone. But I have my clients sign off on a little waiver because I don't want them to cause mechanical damage, and to basically express to them by signing off the seriousness of this and make sure that they're booking out those 4 to 6 week appointments. I personally do follow up, text, call, or email depending on how the client wanted to be contacted, and I let them know, hey, just so you know, you're almost due for your maintenance, your 4-week maintenance, your 6-week maintenance, or whatever it is. So that is something that is very important. You got to keep up with the maintenance. So the first visit, the first salon visit is going to be a retightening. The second salon visit is going to be a refusion. So not refusion like with the hot tool or the cold tool, that's just what we call it. It's when all of your eye tips come out, and this is the perfect time if you need color, okay, to like your natural hair, if you need color, because you should not be getting color while your microlinks are in. But if you need color or anything of the sort, this is the time to do it. So I cannot stress that enough. This is the time to do it. And so you are going to get your color. Any treatments you need that can't happen when you have the microlinks in, this should happen on this visit. And then all of your eye tips are linked back in, and this is something that non-certified and non-professionals struggle with, and you are going to spend quite a bit of money on the hair, and so it should be fine to be, you know, refused in. You shouldn't have to grab new packs of hair, new hair to be installed during your refusion visit. There's certified stylists know that there is a way to make sure that you know where the hair goes, like to put it back, because obviously you get your hair cut. I'll get into that. But so that's what happens. So you have that first visit, it's retightened. Second visit, it's refused, and then that pattern just continues, and it can continue up to 6 months. I've seen that people keep them 4 to 6 months, but it can continue up to 6 months. The better hair that you purchase, the more comfortable you're going to be. Now, for at-home care, I like to, for my clients who get a full install, I will give them a little baggie like this, and what is in here is just a satin pillowcase and satin scrunchies for them to pull their hair up. Because the great thing about this method is you can do anything with your hair, really. You want to pull it in a high ponytail, you can do that. You know, you want to switch your parts, you're not stuck to just a part in the middle, a part on the side. You can keep switching it up. And I send my clients home with this type of brush. It's just a boar bristle brush, and I love this brush. I finished styling with this brush because it really blends the natural hair into the extensions. It's a really okay. So let's get into the picking of the hair. So when you go in for your consultation, what is going to happen is your stylist will present you with perhaps a sample wheel like this, and it may have different colors, right? So this one is based on all the different colors of hair, right? And then it can have some different curl patterns in there. Or your stylist may have a texture ring of hair, so that same sort of ring, but it'll show all the different textures that is available for the hair vendors that your stylist use. Or your stylist may very well have their own line of hair. It's quite possible. And so, but if they don't have the sample wheels, it's totally like common practice for them to just have samples of hair like this, and they can show you what you can expect out of the hair that is available or the hair that they recommend, right? So obviously two very different types of hair here. So that is something that is very important. I always recommend to my clients, because I know I've had some clients like pick hair that I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna give you my professional opinion, but this hair is going to do X, Y, and Z for you. So for me, I try to explain to my clients that certain hair textures is going to mimic their hair, right? So now I have in a full head of I-tips, and I have in the kinky straight texture that I've been showing you throughout the video, and I have 4C hair, and I do wear my hair straight, not all the time, like, but for the most part I wear my hair straight. So kinky straight works for me. Now someone else with my hair type that wears their hair curly, they may want a kinky texture but have it be curly. That's not how I wear my hair. So this is the best hair for me, but this may not be the best hair for someone else. But when picking hair, think about how you style your hair and, you know, what you're going to be most comfortable maintaining. So also something that people don't think about is the luster of hair. That is very important, and that's why it's best for your stylist to have samples available to show you, because the luster of hair, I have low luster hair. So if I get a hair that has this really high luster on it, you're gonna see the difference and from my hair to the I-tips, and we don't want that, right? So it's really important that the hair not only mimics your texture, what you're most comfortable with in terms of styling if you're not able to come into the salon regularly, and the luster. Like, people forget that one a lot of the time. And another one is density, right? So some companies, and I don't want to plug companies because we could be here all day if we get into companies. Some companies make like smaller I-tips, so you can get an I-tip that has more hair in the lock, or you can get an I-tip that has less hair in the lock, right? And that is due to, you know, one's density. Do you have, you know, thin density, coarse density, you know what I mean? Like, how much hair do you have per square inch on your head, right? So is it sparse or is it like jam-packed? That is very important too, and that is why a professional that knows what they are doing when they are looking at your hair need to help guide you in what type of hair you are going to need. Okay, so we covered quite a bit. The one thing I haven't covered is pricing. How much does all of this cost? Well, to be honest with you, there's a range, and I would say the most comfortable range, the range that I feel most comfortable saying to you all is somewhere between $400 to $800. That's the most comfortable range I feel giving you all, but let me be very clear. The range I've seen go as high as $1,200, $1,400. It is very common for it to, because remember, these are semi-permanent. And yes, your hair is usually included. Usually, the common practice with stylists is that they include the hair in the service. So they order the hair. You pick the hair, of course, but they will order the hair and it will be there waiting for you, and you'll take care of that during your consultation. So in this, so depending on how many pieces of hair you need, and if you're getting a partial, if you're getting a full, if there's special things that the stylist has to do. Does the stylist have to color match? Because some companies do have different colors of hair, but then they may not have your texture. So depending on the hair that the stylist is using, the stylist will need to color match your hair in advance. And again, that should be addressed in your consultation, and the hair is usually color matched before the day of your appointment. So that means that the price is going to increase. If you need to be color matched, the price is going to increase. If the extensions that you have ordered need to be color matched, that's just normal, right? Now that completely depends on the stylist that you are seeing, but I would say comfortably $400 to $800. Pricing also depends on the demographic. If you are in a big city and there's a higher demand for it, then pricing will obviously be higher. If If you are in a smaller city, or a small town, demand is probably not that high, so it probably will be lower. But that could also, you know, vary as well. So just keep that in mind. For me, my pricing comes in, I would say, this is a range. I can never give a very clear price because I have to have that consultation. I can give a baseline. I would say comfortably somewhere between $400, depending on what is needed. If they're getting like so many pieces, like, because some people have long hair and they're only getting like a few pieces installed. Because there's some people who get it for volume, there's some people who get it for length, there's some people who get it for volume and length, which would be a full head of eye-tips, or microlinks, I should say. So I would say I sit comfortably at the $400 to $800, $900 range. Yes, that includes the hair, so just keep that in mind, okay? So, and it depends on which hair they pick, and I explain and break all of that down in their consultation, and other stylists will likely do the same. So that is pretty much it. I don't think I left anything out. I hope I didn't. Let's hope I did not. So if you have any questions that I did not answer, please leave them in the comment section below. I will be sure to get to them. If you are interested in microlinks, you know, and you're not sure how to find a stylist, my email will be in the description box below as well. You can email me and I can perhaps give you some insight depending on where you live, and just tell you, you know, guide you as to how to find a professional that is certified. So that is pretty much it. That's all I got for you guys today on this, but I hope to see you guys back here soon. Please like,